In this video, we're going to continue exploring Fusion, and it's going to be a really basic video. So if you are more expert, you can go forward in the video course. Otherwise, if you are a beginner, I think this will be a good start to know basic things that will help you to get through all your design process. So in the previous video, we opened up a sample called the subwoofer, where we saw a little bit about the interface and how we can navigate around. But I think there is more to understand about the samples that we have in Fusion. So right now we are in the home page. And first of all, if we take a look at the samples again, so we can also access from here. And I think that going here, accessing from here is better because you can see a preview of the various samples instead of opening them from this folder right here. And so we have different types of samples. We have simulation, generative, electric, design, etc., etc. So I'm going to go here to design samples. And you can see they are organized into folders. And I think this is the good way you need to set up your work in Fusion and organize yourself, manage all your projects into folders, subfolders, etc., etc. So if we click here, we can see some previews, and you want to make sure that you are connected to the internet, and also wait a little bit because this will be displayed again with the internet connection. So we can see here there are so many pieces on this project. So it's a pretty complex project. And right here we have the entire assembly. So we need to start to think about our work like a series of little models, little objects, then come together into one big assembly or more complex assembly. So if we scroll down here, we can find all the single pieces and then also one file which assembly everything together. And also we have another folder called electronics. And also in projects, maybe you work with other people, so they would have their own folder where they store their own like technical drawings, in this case electronics, etc., etc. And then we have another folder here called com setup. So what I'm saying is trying to be inspired by these various projects samples that are given you by Fusion. So you can see here also utility knife doesn't have folders, only one big assembly here and then all the other pieces right here. So for example, if I open this one, so I click and again use this option here so you can see the previews. Okay, so this is the basic sample project. You have a description here you can read. So we can see highlights, open the left side components to see, etc., etc. And this is also the features used to create this model, like surface modeling, and we're gonna get to that. So what I wanna show you here is that this is an assembly. So if I roll over with the mouse, it's gonna show me the different pieces. And here in the browser, I can see that these are all linked. So this, you can see this link right here. Only this one here is actually in this project. And also from the browser, you can turn on and off the various pieces. So this is why it's good to have the project divided into different components. And so we can manage them. And also if we right click, we can access more features, so more commands. So for example, here I can export, I can save, or I can unlink, break link. Or if I want to see where this is coming from, I can click on open, and this will get me to the original piece. And you can see that right here, this is, if I expand this, we have all the information. We have origin, we have bodies, and we have sketches. So usually a single component like this is composed by a single object, which is also called body. So one single body can be a result of many operations, like booleans or subtractions here, for example. And also we have sketches. Now, usually sketches are used to create something that becomes a solid or a surface. So if I double click, you can see that there is a sketch here that probably was the beginning of this project. So when you double click, you enter this, let's say, other work area. You can see also it changes on the top. We have different commands. When you finish, you're going to say finish, or you can see also this right side panel also appearing many times and showing you other options. So I'm going to finish with this. And so you can see up here now we have the assembly or assemble, and also up here you have in the toolbar at the top the create panel, the modify panel, and the assemble. So to put everything together essentially. So let me show you another sample. I'm going to go back to the home page by clicking up here, and I'm going to go up here to the design samples. And another one that I like is the gym equipment, which is really simple to understand. So you can see this is a primary assembly, meaning everything is in here. But then this is composed by a bench, some dumbbell, and a rack. So this puts everything together. So if I click here, it's like working with containers and parent and child hierarchy. So one thing could be contained into another and then contained into another, etc., etc. So for example, here you can see everything is linked. And again, I can click also from here and select an object also from here. You can right click and access these additional commands that are like quick access commands. And then also here, you can right click and do a quick access from here. And also here you have some quick commands. So if I say delete, I can delete this bench from this assemble. And then perhaps I want to select that object right here. I can find it, I can hide it here. You can see this is a component, it's not a single body. So if I right click, I can open and I can continue to explore this file deeper and deeper. And you can see now we reach the bottom because we don't have any other linked part. So these are just single bodies. So this is a body here. Oh, sorry, node. So this is you can see here a combination of two bodies. One is internal and one is external, etc., etc. So you can explore using the browser. Right clicking, you can open and access the various child, parent, and child in the hierarchy of the various template. So templates are pretty great and can help you understand this hierarchy. So you go from the top, which probably is going to be an assembly, and then inside that you're going to have different objects or different projects. Inside that you're going to have a component or more components, and then inside that you're going to have a body or more bodies, which are essentially 3D models or 3D solids to be more specific. So let's go back now to our project. So I am going to go to project. Also here you can navigate and you can go to assets or default projects. Let's go in this case to the default projects. And this is where I create two folders, for example. One is for English lessons, one is for Italian lesson. And this is an example of organization. So you can create new folder here and we can call this additional data. So you can give it a name, okay, and you can put this in another position. So if you go in the three click, you can delete it, you can recreate it into another file. And so you can also upload stuff from here. And also we can, let me go like inside the lessons. Okay, so we have only one lesson here. So I can go here, open this, copy, move it into another position. So if I say move, I can select, for example, here, I can move it to the additional data folder, for example. And so now this is empty. So I can again upload, or I can just create a new file and then save it into this empty folder. One thing that I've done in this Italian folder here, you can see I have now two lessons here. And so let's say you want to copy a file. I can go here and say copy. and okay, then it's going to tell me copy where I want to copy this. And also from here, I can create a new project or a new folder, and I can navigate up here. So I'm going to put it in the lessons, which is empty right now. Also going to create a new project here, and just to show you, so let's call it Fusion course. Okay, so now I have two projects, default and Fusion course. Inside the project, you can put folders and subfolders and files, etc., etc. So in this this example, I want to put it directly in the default project, and so I'm gonna just copy. Okay, so you need to wait just a little bit. Now this Fusion course project has appeared, but it's empty. We're working at this moment to the default project, and if I go in the lessons, now I have this first lesson, but the name is in Italian, so I'm gonna click. I'm just gonna rename it and call it lesson 01. And so you have this really basic operations you can do here: rename, move, delete, share if you want to share it. Okay, now let's create a new one. So I'm going to go here and just click on new, and you can see, of course, it's empty, and we can start to explore the browser. And the first thing we can see here is the units, the views, which we already saw in the previous lesson when we navigate a little bit around. And then we have origin. So the origin is this little point, which is 0, 0, 0 on the x, epsilon, and z axis. These are the three axes we use mainly in 3D modeling, so in 3D world. And also, again, you can make them visible or invisible. And then you have the basic working planes. So the work planes, or where you're going to work, mostly are going to be the x and the epsilon, the x and the z, and the epsilon and the z plane. Now, when you create a new object, it's going to show you where that is going to go when you create it. It's going to have a base work plane, essentially. And we don't have any sketch in here. So we can create a sketch. You can start from a sketch. When you create a sketch, you can see that the grid is going to move around, and it's going to ask you, okay, where do you want to put this? So let's say I want to put it in vertical on the z and epsilon plane. So now I am in the sketch, and I can start working with the sketch. But I don't want to do this right now. So let me just finish the sketch. So nothing happens here in the world, but if I go up here, I have another folder which was automatically created, and inside that we have a sketch which we can again rename and everything, and we can modify, but right now it's empty. So you can click, you can enter, but that's empty, so I don't have anything there. Be careful where you click here, because if you click there, it's going to change the name, and if you double click this area, it's going to open up the sketch. Okay, so also let's save this, because right now it's untiled. So I also want to close this. I don't want to save this. And let's save this one. I can also click on the save icon up there, and let's call this lesson 02. And we can choose a location here. So it's going to go in the default project. Yes, it's fine. And we can choose a folder. So again, let's be organized, so everything will be nice and tidy. Okay, now what I want to show you also is up here. We don't have only solids, but we also have surfaces. And we are right now in the design workspace, which is we're going to spend most of the time in. And then mesh, sheet metal, plastic, manage, and utilities. So right now we are in solid. This is the default one, the basic one. And we have a bunch of commands that we can do. But also, if we click on this little arrow, we can access to more commands. In the create, we have more creating commands, and then modify, assemble. So this is where we can insert components, create new components, again, other stuff that we're gonna see later. Now, what I wanna show you is, again, something really simple. We are just beginning, and the course is gonna go nice and slow, step by step. So if I go create, I can go down and let's go, for example, in this section, you have what it's called a primitive, which is a box, cylinder, a sphere, and a torus. So these are really basic objects you can start to create to get familiar with Fusion, to familiarize. So if I click here, you can see that again, it's gonna ask me for a work plane. So let's say that this time I wanna position that in the X and epsilon. So the basic one, the standard one. So I click to select with the left mouse that face, and now I am in the creation process of the box. And it's telling me, always read what it's telling you. You can see there is a little text popping up. It says place first corner. So the first corner is going to be that. It's going to be the origin. And then it says, and I can move around with my mouse, not clicking, just moving. And it says specifies the size. So you can either use those pink numbers in there, but we can do that also later. Or you can just click around somewhere else. Let's click here. So now we specify the X and the epsilon, and now it's asking for the Z, which right now is, well, 0.5 millimeter. Well, actually, no, even smaller. So this is 1 millimeter right here. So it's a really small object. Now, once I finish, I say, okay, now this is done. And this is our first body. You can see now we have a folder called bodies, and inside we have a body. So this is the basic 3D model you can create. Again, right click, you can delete it, or right click, you can repeat the delete, or you can undo, you can go back. And also if you click on this face, right click, you can press and pull, meaning that you can push this face down and resize it. So you can always modify that initial body that you create. Also here, right click, you can copy it, or you can access the properties to see more information like area, density, mass, volume, physical material, which we didn't assign yet, but it's by default steel. And again, we can go back here. We can also rename it. We can call it first object. So that's basically a solid, meaning that it's everything is perfectly closed and you can print this without any problem. Surfaces are similar to solids, but sometimes they are not closed. Mesh, it's a different type of structure for your 3D object. So solid and mesh are two different types in a way. And then we're gonna discover more later on. So right-clicking, you can access quick stuff. You can also like create a component from this body. And you can see now this is the representation of that component. So it has its own origin, and it has the first object, its own bodies, and inside that, the first object we created. So it's really important that you understand that everything here is inside a hierarchy, and everything you do is going to be placed in somewhere in this hierarchy. So if I want to add another body in this component and I want to make it work with this first object, well, another way we can create an object is with the S. If you press the S key, you're going to open the design shortcut, which is really useful when you need to be quick and add something that you already know the name of. So if I type like box, you can see I can find it right away without going and searching it into the toolbar. Or even if I type B, I can see all the commands starting with B, and that's the box. And again, now it's asking me where I want to position this. So instead of using the standard work planes, I'm going to use this face of the object right here. So I'm going to click, and let me see here. Okay, now I am exactly on that face. And I can place the first corner, again, clicking, and then the second corner, clicking it again. You can also press the tab key to move around those measures. If you want to put exact measurements in there, you can press the tab key in the keyboard. Click when you're finished, And there you go. Now we have a second body. And now we can decide. You can see here that since we place it on that face, we can decide if we want to join this together into a single piece or leave the two bodies and separated, the two objects separated. If I take this arrow and push it back like this, what it's going to do is going to assume that you want to cut. So it changed the operation automatically. And again, you can change the dimension anytime. You can use the arrows, you can use the parameters up in here. Okay. And there you go. So it's always changeable. And once you finish, you say, okay, and this is our first object. Nothing fancy, but I hope you understand now the really basic of Fusion and how everything is organized. And this is going to be it for this lesson. I'm going to save here, and I'm going to go back to the previous screen. And see you in the next lesson. Subscribe to stay updated. Join the channel to support us. Check out other video courses in the channel. Again, see you in the next.